man rabbit.
Antibiotics, something reaction.
Antimicrobial resistance.
So stomach ache, depending on the underlying condition. No, not all stomach aches are the same flavor, if you know what I mean. So the appropriate stomach ache will go with the appropriate drug. If it's a cough, usually I go for cough medications, maybe lozenges, or just flu medication. A cold, usually those related one. However though, if the symptoms persist after 2 days, I go to see a pharmacist or a doctor.
No, I don't. I don't think so. I think they're healthy bacteria depending on where it is found in the body.
I'm sure everybody in Nigeria has, including me.
I'm not sure about it not working, but I know that I have not finished the dose for some of the antibiotics that have been prescribed for me.
Yes, I have, and I think maybe the biggest challenge is usually when the patients come in and they present, you wouldn't know whether this is a case of antimicrobial resistance or not. You know, primarily they probably will come in and give you flurries of complaints or signs and symptoms until you come up with a diagnosis. And sometimes you send them to the lab and then you have to wait potentially for the result of the lab to come out. But in interim, like most traditional practices, you don't want them to go home without starting them on antibiotics. So you start them on one particular antibiotics, result comes out in a couple of days after, and then you discover that the antibiotics that you actually started them on, you know, that the patient might have developed some form of resistance to the antibiotics when the result of the lab comes out. So at that point in time, you are now faced with a dilemma in a public health facility. How do you reach out to the patient, even though you've informed the patient to come back and pick up the lab test? So when sometimes they come back, and when they come back, you change their medication. Some get upset that you've maybe wasted their money by prescribing the drug that that you knew wasn't going to work. Meanwhile, you did not know. Others will actually be even excited about the fact that at least for now, they can take something. You know, interestingly, for some of them, after starting them on the antibiotics that the lab showed that they are resistant to, they come back and they tell you that they are also doing well. So you get caught up in the mix. You know, the lab result, is it real or not, or is it just that you are managing something else that maybe the patient, whatever is wrong with the patient is now susceptible to the antibiotics that you started them on.
So several things can be done to combat antimicrobial resistance. There are things we can do as individuals, and there are also things we can do as a society. So as individuals, first of all, we need to learn what antimicrobials really are and how they work. For example, certain diseases cannot be treated by an antibiotic. If you have a flu or COVID-19, for example, cannot be treated by an antibiotic. So if you're taking an antibiotic for that, it won't work. It might even expose you to antimicrobial resistance to that antibiotic. So first of all, when you have a disease, you need to seek guidance, you need to seek consultation with a physician, a doctor, or a licensed pharmacist, and understand what kind of treatment you need to take for that infection. Apart from that, when you're prescribed an antibiotic, for instance, you have to take it the way you are instructed to, according to directions from your doctor or from the pharmacist. And even if you start feeling better after a few days, you must complete the whole course of the antibiotic. If you are to take it for 5 days and you're feeling better by the second day, you must complete it for the whole of the 5 days. If you stop it or you take it in a way that is different from what you're asked to do, it can expose you to antimicrobial resistance, because the disease is not completely cured. The microorganism that is causing that disease might then become resistant the next time you want to take that antibiotic. Also, it's important to not share antibiotics with your friends or with your family members. If that antibiotic is not specifically prescribed for them, then it's best not to share the one you took last week that is left over, and then you give it to your sister who has similar symptoms, and then she takes it also for the same, presumably the same infection. It's also not wise to store antibiotics to take it another time. So these are some of the things we can do as individuals to combat antimicrobial resistance. So everyone has a part to play with combating antimicrobial resistance. It's our duty to protect the antimicrobials that protect us. Modern medicine has come really far in providing treatments to different diseases, and to create a new antibiotic, for instance, can take more than 10 years and can cost up to billions of dollars in research. So it's important for us to value these drugs that we have so that they too can protect us. Thank you.